Hi fans of high quality entertainment, how are you? Really? Today I thought I would show you the rock music books that I have, and I've decided to do my top 10 favorites. And I've had, a lot of rock books throughout the years. Some I've given to friends. I actually gave 50 of them to a former friend. I think some of you have heard the story before. For $1 each, even though some of them were hardcover books and, fairly expensive, but me being Mr. Nice Guy, here's 50 rock books for $1 each, $50. And then the next week he was selling one of them on Facebook for $5. That's a friend. So I'm going to show you, first of all, some of the books that are not in my top 10, but they're still all very good books. And actually there's a couple here that are not even music related. Possibly my favorite comedian. I know it's Molly's favorite comedian, Martin Short, I must say. And we're planning at some point to do a video on Martin Short. And another one of my all-time favorite comedians is Christopher Guest. And this is the films of Christopher Guest and Company, with just to look at him makes me laugh. He is definitely, with Martin Short, my favorite comedian. But, they're all great. Everybody that's on that cast for the movies. Waiting for Guffman and Best in Show. Spinal Tap, of course. He was the guitarist. Eugene Levy. Catherine O'Hara. And of course Fred Willard. May he rest in peace. Another one of my all-time favorites. And for music magazines, I used to buy Mojo quite a bit. I don't as much now. And I used to buy Uncut in the past. I rarely buy that. I used to buy Rolling Stone in the 70s. I stopped doing that years ago. And I would say my favorite magazine I buy every month is Record Collector. And this latest issue, at least here in Canada, has my favorite, well, besides the Beatles, my favorite band, Sparks. Yes, an article on Sparks. They're in the UK magazines quite often, actually. So yeah, nice article on them. And I apologize, this might be a fairly long video, but what do you expect for high quality entertainment? And so other books that aren't in my top 10, but if you're a fan of these artists, they're highly recommended. Robbie Krieger, with his book Set the Night on Fire, is excellent. Highly recommended. Captain Beefheart Experience, a book by Bill Harkleroad. I never say his name, so I'm going to stumble saying it. One of the many fine musicians that was in Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. A small book, but it's very, very good. Highly recommended if you're, like I said, a Captain Beefheart fan. Speaking of Sparks, and no, it's not in my top 10 because it's just mainly Ron Mael's lyrics, but I'm very proud to have this in my collection. Selected lyrics. There's the handwritten lyrics for Girl from Germany. I can't say that word. if you want to pause to read it. But yeah, Ron Mael's definitely right up there for me as one of the best songwriters with Lou Reed, Paul Simon, John Lennon, Paul McCartney even. Yes, Paul McCartney could write some pretty damn good lyrics. Not in my top 10, but this is excellent. I highly recommend it. John Anderson and the Warriors, The Road to Yes. And it just goes through his childhood, and it is really, really well done. And it even has pictures inside. I also bought Steve Howe's book around the same time, and yeah, I found half of it boring and the other half just, it was okay, but this is much better. Highly recommended. Not a big fan of his solo career, but he was in one of my favorite 70s bands, Humble Pie, and he is a superb guitarist, as most of you should know. And it just goes through the highs and lows of his career, and it is excellent. You know, he played on George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, played with Ringo, and highly recommended. This one is missing the cover, but it's an excellent book on Lou Reed by Anthony D. Curtis. Just goes through his career. And it's got some pictures too. Highly recommended. Oh, Glenn Kellaway from the Basement's gonna like these books coming up. Bowie. The most versatile, enigmatic, and unforgettable performer of all time. They've said that about me too, though. And this is, you know, it's your typical book. I don't think, you know, if you're a big Bowie fan, you're going to, of course, want it in your collection, but, you know, it's just a good book. I enjoyed it. So I'd recommend it. And a couple of other paperback books. Bowie, a biography. Yes, Glenn Kellaway from the Basement, you can borrow these. I might even give them to you because I've read them. For $25 each. It's got pictures inside too. Yay! And David Bowie, The Oral History by Dylan Jones. No pictures in the book. What's the point of buying a book if there's no pictures? No, but that's very good too. Now, I've talked about these books many times, and they're my favorite series of books, and I think I've got them all together. I might be missing one or two. I usually do when I end my video, it's like, oh, there's another book. But I've got 19 of On Track, Every Album, Every Song, and these are the ones I have so far. And all of them are, you know, some are a little better than others, but overall, I really do like them all. Jefferson Airplane, and it just goes through their discography. They're fans of these artists, and they usually give their own opinion of the songs and the albums. Sometimes I don't agree with them, but I just like, you know, reading somebody else's opinion. So and each of them usually has a few pictures in the middle there. I think they all do in the album covers. I'd love to see one on Sparks. Maybe I'll write it. So Jefferson Airplane, Motorhead, The Kinks, Porcupine Tree, Kate Bush, Frank Zappa. Now this one only goes up to 1979, so I'm hoping there's a part 2, but it's excellent. The Who, one of my favorites, Elvis Costello and the Attractions, and it only goes up to, you know, not his, after, it ends with, there is a postscript, but the albums end with, yeah, Blood and Chocolate, but still excellent. The Rolling Stones, up to 1980. What's that? Yes, I have, yes. Every album, every song. Excellent. One of my favorites, Blue Oyster Cult, every album, every song. The Doors. Captain Beefheart. I was so happy when this is fairly recent. So happy when this came out. Not sure. Now this is one of the lesser known bands. It's kind of surprised they made a book on it, but it's not sure if you've heard of it. Queen. Every album, every song. The Clash. I just finished my ranking and review of their albums. You should check that out if you haven't. One of Glenn Kellaway from the Basement's favorite bands, Caravan. You got to get this one, Glenn, or I'll sell it to you for $50. The Solo Beatles. I've said in the past that this wasn't very good, but going over it again, I think it's mainly because there's so many Beatles songs in the early years, and so he kind of rushes through some of them, but still, you know, it's a good read. I would still recommend it. The Moody Blues and Genesis. So my top 10, you know, as always, I don't take these top 10s too seriously. I'm just kind of half guessing sometimes. All 10 of these are excellent. If you're a fan of any of these artists, as always, I highly recommend these books. Number 10, The Sensational Alex Harvey Band by John Neil Monroe. Goes through his whole career, his life. Number 9 by Martin Popoff. The Blue Oyster Cult Story, Agents of Fortune. Very well done. And goes through each of the albums. Some of these, you know, sometimes you read a book and I'm done with it, but actually I'm going to go through this again because it's been a while. Oh, it's got pictures. Along with Grand Funk Railroad and Talking Heads, they're definitely one of my favorite American bands. And if you don't mind, I would just like to make a little mini commercial. You know, Christmas is coming along, and I don't really want anything for Christmas from my viewers. Just you watching my videos and commenting and liking my videos is enough. But if you want to give me an extra Christmas gift, please become a Patreon. I've got 13 so far, and I'd love to have more patrons, starting at the low, low price of $2 per month. That's less than a cup of coffee. Back to the books here. Okay, so 5, 6, number 8. Oh, what's his name's gonna love this one. The Complete David Bowie It's heavy, man. Ugh. Yes, it goes through basically every song, every album in friggin' detail with credits and everything. It is, I mean, I've read maybe 20% of it, but it's always there to read. It's going to take me forever. But yeah, if you're a big David Bowie fan, this is highly recommended. And number 7, which is, very, pretty much like the David Bowie book, just a bit bigger with lots of pictures in it. Queen, all the songs. The story behind every track. And with this one, yeah, it's really well done. And a lot of colorful pictures inside. So there's one page just on Radio Gaga. Somebody to Love. So yeah, if anyone is interested in any of these books and you're thinking of buying one of them, let me know in the comment section below, because I always love hearing, oh, I got this record or this book from your recommendations. But yeah, this is like a 10 out of 10. Really well done. Number 6, and when I was putting this top 10 list together, I wasn't even going to have this in my top 10 because I haven't looked at it for months, and I was thinking, it was interesting when I bought it, but looking at it again with fresh eyes, it is, and once again, it's, another book I need to look through again. It's Paul McCartney, the lyrics. I'm very glad I bought this. It's very classy. Lots and lots of cool, lyrics that he wrote, like there. And he talks about, I know some people are disappointed. There's always disappointed Paul McCartney fans, with maybe some of the comments he would make on certain songs. But overall, like I said, really good pictures. Highly recommended. Number 5. Now this was written by a band member for Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, John Drumbo French. He's a Facebook friend. Hi, John. And I think he was saying about this book that it was, when it was released, it was unedited or something. There was something happened. So it's not, perfect, but it is a big book, and yes, I highly recommend it. It is a lot. And what a talent. I mean, all of the Captain Beefheart band members were superbly talented. And John Drumbo French is definitely at the top. Yeah, Chicago TV show, July 1974. Favoritism. Goes through the good and the bad of being in Captain Beefheart's band. Now, a couple of these were actually given to me by the author. But that's not why they're in the top 10. They're in the top 10 because you know me as a very honest person. No, seriously. So number 4, even though if you're a fan of this band, it would be number 1. Long title, Looking for the Good Times, Examining the Monkees songs one by Michael A. Ventrella and Mark Arnold. And I believe Michael is a Facebook friend. Hi, Michael. Yeah, but he asked me if he could send me this book. And seriously, when anybody sends me, especially a book, you're thinking, oh, it's some book this guy wrote, and it's, it's not going to be that professional or whatever. And I was knocked out of the park with this. And what I love about it is it's 2 people. They're kind of talking about each album and each song, and sometimes they agree, sometimes they don't, and it makes it very interesting. So if you're a Monkees fan, you need this in your book collection. And probably all of these books, you can just type in on Amazon or go to the person's site. But, just on Amazon, Canada or the US, I'm sure you'll find all of these books. Need a little break here, I'm tired. Okay, top 3. Now this one wasn't given to me, I had to buy it. I know. But if you love prog rock, you will love this book on progressive rock because it goes into detail about a lot of different prog bands. And I would say at least 75% of these bands I've never heard of. And some of them sound interesting. And I'm pretty sure that Scott from the Prog Corner has talked about this book. So there it is, The Strawberry Bricks Guide to Progressive Rock, 3rd edition by Charles Snyder. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of bands. Yeah, and it will, for instance, here's Gentle Giant. So they go through year by year. And so in 1976, Gentle Giant, of course, one of the bands I knew of, released Interview. And so they talk about that album. And Caravan. Excellent. If you're a prog rock fan, go out and get that today. Number 2. Yeah, when I bought this, I was so impressed with it. It's the ultimate book. If you're a Frank Zappa fan, it's the ultimate book, like I just said. And it's heavy. You know why it's heavy? Because it's the big note. Yes, it goes through his whole discography, song by song. Talks about all of the different band members and a bit of their history. It talks about all of the albums, each song, even some of the, unknown songs. So there's Overnight Sensation. And it goes through each song and who plays on the song and their thoughts on the song. Then little tidbits throughout the book on, like I said, the different members of the band. This is just so much detail. It's like, whoa, This is too much, man. Art Tripp, one of the former members of the Mothers of Invention, the percussionist, an astonishing 15-year work of research. Ulrich has created the ultimate encyclopedia of all Zappa Mothers recordings. The details of the sessions and of the musicians who participated are as fascinating as one of Frank's best compositions. Highly recommended. And number one, once again, this was, somebody wrote to me on Facebook and said, "Hey Larry," and I go, "Oh, what now? How would you like me to send you a book on the Beatles?" It's like, another book on the Beatles. Okay, send it my way. Is it free? Okay, yeah, send it. But it wasn't, I was happy this person was sending it to me, but you never know what it's going to be like, right? Because you're thinking, okay, this person just wrote this book on the Beatles. And I've read many, many, many books on the Beatles in my life. This is, for all of the books I've read, this is my favorite. And that's why, if you're a Beatles fan, it's a go out and get it now. Four Sides of the Circle, The Beatles' Second Phase, 1970-1974, by Terry Wilson. So he goes through all of the Beatles' early solo years up to John Lennon's Rock and Roll. But even Ringo's two early albums, the Sentimental Journey and the Country album. And he goes through the songs and who plays on each song. And what I love about this is, first of all, I believe everything he's writing. It's like he knows his stuff. But there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. And I'm the biggest Beatles fan in the world. And I was just really, really impressed with it. So thank you again, Terry Wilson. And thanks also to Michael and Mark for the Monkees, which is just as good. That's why I'm saying these top 10s are... But, if I had to decide which would be my favorite, I guess I would have to choose Four Sides of the Circle. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video and would love your thoughts below, and maybe you have some of these books. Let me know what you think. And also, if you're interested in any of these books, let me know if you're going to be buying them.